The just energy transition is not only about the transitioning of the energy sector away from fossil fuels like coal power towards clean energy like renewable energy. It's much broader than that. It's also touching every single sector of the economy, allowing us to get more into decarbonization strategies and our climate commitments as a country. But for South Africa, in the context, it is also about the socio-economic impact and how do we address that from a transformation perspective and long-term sustainable economic growth. The energy transition is currently being managed by the Presidential Climate Commission. It's a commission that's been appointed by the President, and they have very specific priorities in driving this process for South Africa in transitioning the economy. I'm not going to touch on all of the priorities that they set out. It's mainly focusing on a roadmap over the next few years, but a few to mention that's extremely important for us as a bank. And looking into 2022, why it's important, are probably three that I want to highlight to you today. The first one is the repurposing of the coal power stations and the roadmap around developing strategies with Eskom to do that. The second one is extremely topical at the moment, is how do we add additional generation capacity from renewables at a rapid pace? But not only looking at adding generation, but also how do we establish a sustainable renewable energy sector, focusing on localization combined with economic development and participation in the equity as well. So that is absolutely critical. The third one that's worth mentioning is how do we transform the workforce, reskilling, training, development, to be able to adapt to this new energy space that we're going to feed into. So all of that is critical for us as a bank, especially on how do we respond, not only in terms of funding and banking opportunities, but also being a client-centric bank, how do we support our clients in their road towards decarbonization. I just want to give you a bit of perspective by taking a step back around the power sector in South Africa, and just a few data points to set the scene. First of all, we have in South Africa installed capacity of around 52 gigawatts, quite significant. However, we all know that the bulk of that is currently coal power, around about 73%, with about 5.2 gigawatts of renewables, roughly 10% of installed capacity. Significant increase from 10 years ago when we had absolutely nothing. So great progress to date. However, what we do see is that the current available capacity is only around 30 gigawatt, which is not enough to feed the current demand, swifting between around about 27 gigawatt to 32 gigawatt, depending on the industrial activity and growth within the economy. Clearly leading us to a supply gap and ultimately the load shedding that we are experiencing over the last 2 years in South Africa. This is a sector that will continue to grow, and for us to be able to support growth and sustainable development in a way that South Africa meet its climate change goals as well as its decarbonization commitments, we need to be able to support and develop these opportunities proactively. Not only from a funding point of view, but also from a client-centric point of view, feeding into our client processes and their roadmap to become more sustainable over time. So to conclude, South Africa is definitely going to progress on this roadmap towards clean energy. And as a bank, we are starting to see more proactive engagement, not only with clients, but internally as well. We are putting together the various working teams across different teams, across different product focus areas, and you are more than welcome to engage with us to be part of this journey that we will embark on.